On the occasion of the 15th anniversary of PetroCaribe, member countries of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America participated in a joint video conference of the ALBA Political and Economic Councils. The world has now registered over 10 million cases of the COVID-19 virus as the pandemic continues to spread. As of Monday, all schools across Tanzania have reopened after 3 months of being shut due to the COVID-19 pandemic. From the headquarters of Telesur English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South, and I'm Katrina Goss. And this Monday marks the 15th anniversary of the regional integration mechanism known as PetroCaribe. On the occasion of the anniversary, member countries of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America People's Trade Treaty participated in a joint video conference of the political and the economic councils of the bloc. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced the strengthening of commitments as well as energy cooperation agreements that will allow for the reduction of existing inequalities in the region. And to mark the 15th anniversary of PetroCaribe, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro noted on his Twitter account that 15 years ago, with the integrationist concepts of Fidel and Chavez, PetroCaribe was born as a mechanism of cooperation and fraternity that will be reinforced to resist and fight the criminal sanctions and blockades of the United States. A Venezuelan Vice President of the Economic Area, Tarek El-Assaimi, outlined the path to be followed in order to achieve a sustainable regional economy during the ALBA TCP Ministerial Council meeting this Monday.
All the ideas that we have gathered in the past month, in the past weeks of hard work, to move forward towards the new system of protection, of production. We have to identify the potentialities of every country in order to achieve a regional economic integration, where we give priority to complementarity, each country producing what would bring them higher benefits, exchanging goods and services with other alternative compensation mechanisms to the Western dominant bank, which badly impacts the economies of our countries. We also have to build and develop the institutional structures. Like I said, PetroCaribe, ALBA Bank, in short and mid-term. We have to develop incentives, especially for the productive economy, and we have to be more agile, flexible, and understand the historic moment that our nations are facing, and make way to bilateral cooperation under these instruments that will surely be an example for the rest of the world.
And in other news, Venezuelan authorities conducting patrols of border areas with Colombia in order to prevent the spread of the coronavirus made a discovery this weekend. United Socialist Party leader in the area, Freddy Bernal, and members of the National Bolivarian Armed Forces came across a cable car system built by criminal groups in order to facilitate the illegal entry into the country of people and goods. The cable car, which has now been dismantled, connected Colombian territory with the Venezuelan state of Táchira, which is separated by a river and a few meters.
But it is important to say that the border with Colombia, first of all, is a very highly dangerous border, because on that side there are irregular armed groups which are protected by the National Army of Colombia and by the Colombian National Police. They are the bands of narco-traffickers, the gangs of extortionists, the BACRIM, as they are called in Colombia.
Las BACRIM, así les llaman en Colombia.
In Guatemala, rural families have gathered a variety of medicinal plants as an alternative treatment for the novel coronavirus amid a shortage of medicine at community public health centers.
She's part of hundreds of indigenous families who keep a collection of medicinal plants, effective to fight the new coronavirus, according to her.
We are poor. We don't have money in the communities, but we have to keep in mind that we have to use our old natural medicines. We don't need a lot of doctors, forgive me. Doctors study to help us as well, but there is medicine that doesn't do us well.
Many families rely on their own recipes made from plants which are native to their territories.
The ginger is cooked, the lemon tea is cooked, you cook the chamomile, the ginger, and the 5 key ingredients. You add the juice of these 3 lemons, and you sweeten it with this honey. That's what we have to do in order to prevent the coronavirus.
They say that natural medicine is an alternative for their healing of the new coronavirus. particularly with the collapse of public hospitals.
There's no need to worry. There is a solution. It is in our hands. It is just a matter of making it. You know, for me, plants are extremely important to eliminate any kind of health problems.
More than 50% of the Guatemalan population lives in rural areas, and a majority are able to cure their own diseases, thanks to the elements of nature, according to the senior member of the community.
We just take it from the mountain. We've taken it, and it helps cure us. If my children get sick, we also taken a bit of this remedy, and they get better.
In Guatemala, coronavirus cases have increased to over 10,000 cases. While the public care centers exist only in the capital city, the majority of population does not have decent hospitals in the departments throughout the country.
Governor of Puerto Rico, Wanda Vázquez, issued a decree establishing the details of the extension of the curfew on the island until July 22nd. The decree establishes that the curfew will run from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. It also highlights the importance of maintaining the measures recommended by the Medical Task Force and Health Secretary. Although Puerto Rico has reported over 7,000 COVID-19 cases and 153 deaths, collective transport services will resume on Wednesday, respecting the regulations established by the Metropolitan Bus and Urban Train Authority. The Central Electoral Board of the Dominican Republic confirmed that the presidential elections will be held on July 5th, despite the health crisis sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic. From Santo Domingo, our correspondent Daisy Toussaint has the details.
Hi, how are you? It is a pleasure to greet you. That is right. In the Dominican Republic, the presidential and congressional elections are getting closer, which will be held next July 5, amidst the pandemic that is affecting the whole world. The president of the Central Electoral Board said that the elections will be held no matter what, and that they do not have any pending logistical delays in relation to the upcoming elections. 7.5 million Dominicans will vote to elect the president and vice president, 32 senators, 190 congressmen, 20 partisan representatives, and 20 deputies. The voting schedule will be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And we're taking a very short break now, so don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The world has now registered over 10 million cases of the COVID-19 virus as the pandemic continues to spread. According to data provided by the World Health Organization during an international conference from its headquarters in Geneva, more than 10.3 million cases have now been reported and over 500,000 deaths. The novel coronavirus pandemic continues to be one of the biggest challenges that humanity has faced in recent decades, with new waves of infection being reported as different countries seek to reopen their economies. And in the United States, the worst hit country by the coronavirus pandemic, the governor of California state has ordered bars in 7 counties to close again just weeks after coronavirus restrictions were eased. The number of new COVID-19 cases has jumped in more than half of US states, reaching record highs after months of uneven mitigation efforts and contradictory messages from the federal government. The hardest hit US states are currently in the South and West, where many state leaders pushed for an early economic reopening. The latest surge in cases has pushed the United States total to more than 2.6 million and its death toll past 128,000, prompting growing calls for much tougher rules and enforcement of restrictions. Coronavirus restrictions are being tightened in Serbia as more high-profile figures become infected. Several towns are now considered COVID-19 hotspots in the country. The city of Kragujevac, home to around 200,000 people, announced a state of emergency after reporting hundreds of new cases in just a few days. Serbia's Defence Minister Aleksandar Vulin and Speaker of the National Assembly, Maja Gojkovic, have both tested positive for the coronavirus. On Saturday, former Serbian football player and manager Elija Petkovic died of COVID-19, while tennis star Novak Djokovic has also tested positive, sparking fears of a second wave of infections in the country. In Scotland, non-essential stores reopened on Edinburgh's main shopping street after being closed for more than 3 months.
Can't get to the shops, but I think if you look at the period we're in just now, we're not buying things that we're probably buying things that we're going to wear every day. So we're buying more leisure wear because we're in the house all the time, rather than evening wear, which we maybe only wear 5 times a year. But because of that, we're wearing it out quicker.
Yeah, so I think the tourism aspect will be impacted by the sort of lockdown measures that are still in place. We're trading very well in local stores, so what we're seeing is a lot of people shopping in more local stores, less coming into the city centres, but over time that'll pick back up. We're just working through plans now to optimise our sales to our core customers who live in and around the area and who will be coming in every day of the week. But yeah, it's going to be quiet for some time.
The United Kingdom's negotiator for Brexit met with his EU counterparts in Brussels this Monday for another week of talks. These were the first face-to-face meetings on Brexit since the coronavirus pandemic started. The meetings will alternate on a weekly basis between Brussels and London throughout the summer as the UK works towards achieving a deal as soon as possible. Tempers flared in recent days after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson insisted on Saturday that the UK was ready to accept the consequences of a no-deal Brexit if common ground cannot be found. And we're taking another short break now, but stay with us for more. Welcome back to From the South. As of Monday, all schools across Tanzania have reopened after 3 months of being shut due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
As teachers, we are making sure we are following all the guidelines set by our Ministry of Health in ensuring that we are protecting our students and ourselves as teachers against COVID-19. For example, we are making sure that everyone wears masks and also that we have enough clean water tanks with sanitizers in the school compound. We are also making sure that both teachers and students are respecting 1 meter social distancing in class, so as to avoid any spread in case someone has the coronavirus.
And moving to Senegal, residents are up in arms about real estate projects that threaten a historic landmark in the capital, Dakar. According to residents, since the early 2000s, the Mamelis Hills, located on Dakar's coastline, have been a target of developers looking to build hotels and resorts along the coast.
We also denounce the occupation of the coastline, which belongs to everyone. Everywhere in the world, a coastline is a common property, whether it is in Africa, America, Europe, everywhere. A coastline serves everyone. Why then do a few privileged people think that only they have the right to access the coast, to privatize it, to close it, and allow only themselves and their families to access it, to the detriment of other Senegalese people? That is why this is a common and global fight. We grew up on this site. It's part of our history. It's part of our culture, the lighthouse of the Mamels. So it's important for us to preserve this site. And while we are here, we are going to try to defend it. We are going to try to preserve it.
Zimbabwe has suspended trade on the local stock exchange and mobile money transfers in order to protect its currency. Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Information, Nick Mangwana, said on Sunday that mobile money transfer platforms were causing a gap between the market exchange rate for the Zimbabwean dollar and the official exchange rate. The official added that owners of mobile-based systems were conspiring with the help of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange to facilitate illicit activities that are sabotaging the economy. Human rights associations in Morocco, along with the Sahrawi NGO Equipe Media, have denounced the arrest of sub-Saharan migrants in the city of Lahoun and Tafara after they were accused by authorities of being behind the COVID-19 outbreak in the region. According to the organisations, these arrests represent the reality of discrimination faced by black Western Saharan citizens in the disputed territory, which is partially controlled by Morocco. Reportedly, citizens are being arrested on the streets or even in their own homes to allegedly test them for the novel coronavirus. The situation worsened after 33 COVID-19 cases were discovered among 70 migrants who arrived to the Canary Islands, along with another 37 who were rescued in Tafaya. Thousands of people have fled their homes in northwest Myanmar as fighting between the army and insurgents intensifies. The United Nations has called for civilians to evacuate the conflict-racked area on Sunday to save lives. The Myanmar military has been battling against the Arakan army, an insurgent group seeking autonomy for the ethnic Rakhine Buddhists in the states of Rakhine and Chin since January last year. At least 30 people died and a dozen are missing after a ferry capsized in Bangladesh. 23 bodies have been recovered so far by rescue workers. The sunken ship was hit by another ferry in Farashganj, just meters from the country's largest river port. Several witnesses told local television stations that the boat was carrying more than 50 people, with many stuck inside cabins. Ferry accidents are common in Bangladesh due to poor safety standards. Pakistan's Interior Minister has announced that an investigation was launched after Baloch separatists opened fire and held a grenade at the Pakistani Stock Exchange in Karachi, killing 6 people.
This morning, a few terrorists who were armed with Kalashnikovs and automatic weapons attacked the stock exchange building. They first came to the parking lot and tried to attack from there. The law enforcement agencies intercepted them. As the first terrorist tried to get in, he was killed. But his accomplices managed to get in, and in the crossfire, all 4 terrorists were killed. I assure that the way our intelligence and law enforcement agencies have destroyed these terrorist networks, their bases, and their masterminds, similarly, we will dismantle them again. An investigation has been launched, and very soon we will reach their masterminds.
And we've come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. For Telesur English, I'm Katrina Goss, and thank you for watching.
From here to beyond